night, Al.
Bird night.
We're here for the bird nights, everybody.
Wow.
The Thunder. Oh my gosh. It did not. It was a. Let's acknowledge this. It had been a long time since we had wanted a basketball team to win a game that badly.
Yeah, I the way I knew that I was into it is that I turned the game off because I was so angry.
Yeah.
At some point in the third quarter, when they got up, when Clippers came all the way back and got up by double digits, I just turned the game off. Started playing Rocket League. Said, "Well, that's that. I don't want to see the happy tweets from Blazers fans. I don't even want to look at it." But then I started checking my phone. And they slowly started creeping back. And then when it got pretty close to being tied, I turned it back on. And even then, I was like, it's still not going to happen. I'm just setting myself for even a worse failure because then I'm going to buy back in.
Well,
and then they came through.
The funniest part about that whole thing that you just described is that it was Luke in our group chat that said, "Man, there are a lot of fouls in this game." And then you said, "I turned it off." And it's L-Man that stuck it out with this game and is like sitting at home watching it. And you're like, "I turned it off." That was very funny to me.
It was dunked on L-Man. Just sitting in his
was
living room by himself with a legal pad making notes on the game. Wow,
L-Man LaRue over there. Wow.
Yeah, I was and by the end of it, I mean, I was standing up in front of my TV, 2 feet in front of it, clapping very aggressively when everything. I mean, when Marcus Morris took that ill-advised three,
beautiful contested late three. It was so good.
Oh, I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. That's just what I want to see. But then you had Larry Nance missing the free throws. And so you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to tie
Larry.
it up.
I felt for Larry at that moment. I couldn't be mad at Larry. I couldn't be mad because he had 7 offensive rebounds. Larry Nance is one of the giant reasons right now that the Thunder have the 12th pick. And if, somehow, some way, that pick becomes like a really good Thunder player, kind of like how the Sixers praise Mike Muscala for Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah,
They
said they want this. They said they want to make a banner for Mike Muscala.
I'm aware. I'm aware of this. And here's the deal: if this happens, we're raising a banner for Larry. Okay,
we got to.
This will be the Larry pick.
Honestly, Larry's a great name. Like, I'd love a Herb banner too. Like, they just got a lot of good names.
Herb hit some free throws. Herb played some defense. I don't know. Just Larry had his imprint all over the end of this game.
Which, if you're a Blazers fan, I mean, it was going to hurt regardless, but it's CJ, it's Larry Nance. Like, it's guys that you were Larry Nance, we were talking about him last summer. Like, what a great move for Portland based on, like, they couldn't do a lot. And to get him, and then he does nothing for them because he's injured.
Here's the reason why it's Larry, because it's Larry on Bird Night. It's got to be.
Larry on Bird Night. Yes.
Yeah.
I get it.
Larry on Bird Night. This is the Larry pick. This is the total Larry pick.
Couldn't happen to a better guy. I know nothing about him, but I always liked him.
Yeah, good player. Yeah, I mean, this obviously is probably being completely overblown by me and my own emotions. But you think about it like this. The Thunder had the 15th pick in the draft. And on draft night, they want to move up to 12, right? To get whoever. Like, what does it cost to get there? From 15 to 12.
Maybe either both of the seconds from this year because they're good seconds, or maybe like a future protected late first. Like the Denver first or something. It would probably be something like that. Like, you'd have to trade the 15th pick plus either 2 good seconds or a bad first.
Are you counting the 30th pick as a second? What are you counting? What do you mean?
I thought you said I thought we have 2 seconds this year.
I think we just have our own second.
Okay, well, that 1 second and then another good second. I think we have like a Houston second in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would cost something. And if you look at the history of the draft, like, yes, there are those exceptions where, like, obviously Giannis and Kawhi both taken at pick 15. But
Hmm.
there are also so many examples where, like, that lottery cutoff of 14 to 15 does feel like a bit of a drop off. Like, even last year,
Yeah.
like, the Wizards had a chance to take Moses Moody, who I like a lot, but then he's taken at 14. They have to go with Corey Kispert. The year before,
Hmm.
Tyrese Halliburton falls all the way to pick 12 for some reason, and the Kings get him and trade him. The year we had campaign, which that was the 14th pick, we know what happened. Devin Booker, right there, but we never had a chance. Never even had a chance to pick him. So it does seem like a small change, but those small changes, like we've seen in past lotteries, how big of a difference it makes in terms of like the quality of player that's like right around there at the
Yeah.
late lottery. Like there are good finds there. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, he was a pick 12, wasn't he? I think
He
so.
wasn't pick 12, but he was. I think he was 13.
Okay.
Yeah, he was 13.
And then
Um,
the bigger news, I mean, that's like the small news. The bigger news, obviously, is that you just get extra odds to jump in the top four. You just get a free 7%, 7.1% that you didn't have
hey,
before to jump
I'll
in the
take
top
it.
four. And now, obviously, it's not like last year where there was actually like a very high chance we were going to get 2 picks in the top four. It's not going to be that this year, but it's not zero. We actually have a
Yeah,
legitimate shot to get 2 picks in the top four. We have a
there's a
backup pick.
shot. Yeah, 7% is quite low, but still,
Hey,
it's
it gives Tyler Carroll something to do because last year he was like doing all the odds for us, sending us the Excel sheets. He was probably worried. Well, we only have 1 pick. There's nothing really to do with that. You can just go on Tankathon.
yeah,
Now
yeah, yeah.
he's got something to do, which is great.
True, true. History of pick 12. If we just want to talk about the 12th pick,
Yeah,
Josh Primo was the 12th pick last year.
I love him. Super
Feel pretty
young.
good about that. So young. He's gonna be young for a long time. Tyrese Halliburton in the year
Woo!
before that. PJ Washington in
Solid.
2019. Miles Bridges in
Wow. These are
2018.
some good names.
2017, Luke Kennard.
Still good. Still
Yeah,
solid.
he went before Donovan Mitchell in that draft,
Ah,
by the way.
okay.
2016, Torian Prince. Yeah. Trey Lyles, Dario Saric, Steven Adams, our very own, at 13.
Oh,
Jeremy Lamb, our very own. Alec Burks, Xavier Henry. And then notables. Robert Swift was drafted 12th in 2004. Nick Collison. This is where the good luck is maybe converging on the
yeah. It
Thunder.
does seem
Is
like
that
there's a lot of like Thunder synergy with the 12th
Nick
pick.
Collison picked 12th and Steven Adams picked 12th.
Wow.
They
Could
have
it
to
be
send
another
Nick
big year?
Collison. They have to send Nick Collison as the representative to the lottery now.
Will it? Maybe it will be Jalen Duren falling to 12.
That's possible. I mean, let's take a look at the current draft board and praise the Lord, Shaden Sharp declared, and he'll stay. And
Now
I would
he
guess
could
he'll
still
stay
go
in.
back. He did not hire an agent.
Yeah, I know. He's going. He's gonna go in the
Mm.
top 10, and he's gonna make some killer money.
Do you ever click on the tweets like about Shaden Sharp and underneath them it's just all Kentucky fans just in complete denial? It's kind of I'm just like
Ooh, he
so
could come
removed
back.
because I went to OU where like college basketball fandom wasn't like that big of a deal, you know. But like
Yeah,
UK, like their fans are just as insane as any like pro sports team, and they are in complete denial. Most
yeah.
of them think, "Oh yeah, he's just testing it out. He's just gonna." They're gonna
Hmm.
tell him he's a late first pick, and then he's gonna come back. Duh, der.
Vladimir Rodmanovich, another Seattle Supersonic, taken at 12. By the way, so looking at just the Tankathon mock draft,
Mm-hmm.
um, which they may be right, they may be not. I don't know. One of these guys is going to be available at 12. Like Ty Washington could be there. Yeah, I'm not a huge Ty guy.
Mm.
Tari Eason, kind of a big. I like Tari Eason a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jalen Duren could be there. Mark Williams will certainly be there. Dyson Daniels could be there.
Mm-hmm.
Matherin
Mm-hmm.
could be there. It could be a pretty significant piece to this team. Whereas, like, you look back and you go back even 3 slots, like, it just doesn't feel as good. You don't feel as good up there. So it's a significant upgrade. And just the fact that, like, just because, like, randomly this, Paul George gets COVID and the Clippers lose this game at home for that, and it really is for that reason alone, which is, like, horrible for PG, wonderful for the Thunder, that they just jump up 3 slots. Like, you just get a free 3 slots in the draft. Like, here you go. Like, you get to
And
have
and
it now.
and that's the thing. Like we've been talking this entire season. Like eventually, the Thunder have to get lucky for this to work.
Yeah.
And in the grand scheme of things, this is like a small little luck thing. It's not like the biggest
Yeah.
thing in the world. It's not like the Houston pick falling to 5 last year or something. But
Right.
it's a little treat, Andrew, for us after a
It
very
is.
long and difficult and sometimes miserable at the end season. It's just like a
Yeah.
nice little thing to have. And now when we play our tankathon game, there's 2 of our names that are going around, and they could
That's
jump up.
true.
How
I've
nice is
gotten many screenshots. I
that?
mean, for example, like the 2020 draft, had the Magic jumped up from 15 to 12, they have Tyrese Halliburton instead of Cole Anthony.
Yeah. And the other
I
thing is
mean,
like we didn't even talk about this, but like, okay, what if they do fall to 6 or they stay at 5 or something? If you wanted to trade up, like that asset, even though it's marginally better, it just
it's
feels
better.
different saying we're going to trade you 2 lottery picks in this year's draft as opposed
Mhm.
to like a mid-round first,
Yeah.
which is how you would talk about it. So it's just more flexibility, more options for Mr. Presti.
Yeah.
What a
I mean,
great
in
night.
the previous draft, you've got Troy Brown Jr. at 15 or Miles Bridges at 12.
Yeah.
You
Now
know,
don't go too
and
far back
then
because then you're getting to Kawhi and Giannis, and we don't want to ruin this. But the argument there would be, hey, guess what? Giannis and Kawhi were there, available at 12.
they were
They were could have been
people
taken
just
at 12.
made mistakes. People just made mistakes. Yeah, you could you could go back and trade. that would be that's a much funnier. It would actually be Giannis for Steven Adams is what the trade is what the trade would be in 2000, and then 2011 it's oh gosh, it's Kawhi for Alec Burks. You don't want to go back too far. Let's stay with the Tyrese Halliburton Cole Anthony example.
um, man, Blazers fans, I sent you a text of my Blazers friend
Yeah,
that was just like a bunch of explicitives over and over. Trade Dame was mixed in with those
yep,
explicitives,
expletives.
expletives. It's late, not as late as everyone watching this, but it is
I
late
was gonna
for
say
me.
it's not 1 a.m. like it is
Yeah,
here
okay.
in
So it's only
Pennsylvania.
11, but still, for me, I usually go to bed
For
at
me,
7. So I wanted to read you this tweet by Blazers by Sager.
okay.
I don't know if that's how you say his name. I apologize if it's wrong. He said Charlotte got more draft capital back in a trade for Devonte Graham, a free agent, than Portland did for all of C.J. McCollum, Norman Powell, Robert Covington, and Larry Nance Jr. combined.
Holy smokes!
Which,
So what's the
like,
trade? What's the CJ trade now?
so now they get a top 4 protected Milwaukee first in 2025.
So they're getting Milwaukee's 2025 like 27th pick or 25th pick or whatever.
And the more important thing is, like, who knows what happens with Milwaukee? Like, maybe that does become a good pick. You don't know. Like, it could become a late
Never
lottery
know.
pick.
Yeah.
But in terms of wanting to trade an asset for someone like Jeremy Grant, that's going to be way less appealing to Detroit than like the 12th
Yeah.
pick in this draft would have been.
Yeah. It seemed like they had like all the ingredients, just try to like string together a team. And that's a
Well,
huge piece of the puzzle removed. Huge.
Well, what it does is like they obviously could still trade their pick for Jeremy Grant because
Yeah.
who knows? Like, I mean, they're in the sixth best odds, but let's say they fall to eight. Like, they might think, okay, we can trade the eight for Jeremy Grant. But the difference is that you can't straddle the line between the present and the future anymore because with two
Hmm.
lottery picks, you could use one of those on a young player, start to develop them in your pipeline, but still get Jeremy Grant with another one. So you can kind of like
Yeah.
play both sides. It's going to be a lot harder to do that now because again, they can't trade any of their own first until like 2028 or some stupid thing because of the first they gave up for Larry Nance Jr., who we're going to make a banner for.
It's big Larry night here.
It's just a
Big
bad
Bird,
series
big
of
Larry night.
events for the Blazers.
It really is. And to see CJ thriving
Oh my gosh!
with the
Did you see that stat?
Pelicans too.
Will Guillory, his ninth straight playoffs made. He's made the playoffs in every single season of his career.
Wow.
That is kind of wild
Wow.
because you
That
don't
is
think of him
really
as like
crazy.
on amazing teams. It's not like he's just.
Mm-mm.
Actually, there aren't any teams that have made the playoffs that many years anymore because the Blazers were the
Yeah.
last one.
Right. Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible stuff. And good for CJ. Because I mean, I wouldn't have given the Pelicans much of a chance, from the start of this. I would have. I thought it was going to be the Wolves and the Clippers, and honestly, if not for some really bad luck for the Clippers,
Well, dude,
you
I mean,
know,
they could have won the Wolves game easily. I
yeah,
mean, their
true.
plan was almost too good. Like they almost succeeded too well against Karl Anthony Towns because when Karl Anthony Towns left that game, the Wolves became such a better team because they were just attacking the rim nonstop.
Yep.
Like if their plan had just been like slightly worse and Karl Anthony Towns had just had like an average or like below average game and not a horrible game, like they probably win.
Yeah, they probably do. Yeah, both those games were extremely close. And if you're the Clippers, you had an incredible season. Based on like the hand that they were dealt, an incredible season. But it just feels so much worse now. And then to see, I mean, for me, if I'm a Clippers fan and I see the Thunder now like getting this 12th pick, I would be quite upset
And
about that.
remember 2 years ago when they flamed out in the playoffs, it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And you heard the rumors that like Ballmer was like going crazy behind the scenes
Yeah.
and wanting to like blow it all up.
Get
And then
ready.
they calmed him down. Come back the next year, they make the conference finals for the first time franchise history without Kawhi Leonard, who was out.
Mhm.
And you're like, okay, that trade was definitely worth it. Now year three, and they missed the playoffs completely. And did you see the shots of Steve Ballmer like
Yeah,
at the
he
end of that
was
game? Like
he was
even when
dejected.
they were like winning and it was like a close game, he looked pissed. He was not
He
doing his like thigh grabbing, clapping
No, there was no thigh grab.
thing.
Unfortunately for all of us,
He
there
was
was no
looking
thigh
pretty
grab.
bummed. And you
He
just
was.
wonder, knowing that that's how he reacted 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
how's he going to react to this? Because whoever that random guy was on Twitter that said like there's friction between Kawhi and the Clippers, which I feel like anyone could say that because like why wouldn't there be? It feels like there's always tension between Kawhi and whatever organization he's with.
It's a simple prediction to make.
Like how pissed would you be if you think that there's any chance Kawhi could have been playing right now and could have gotten your team in the playoffs, and instead he didn't, and now you got knocked out. You lost two play-in games in a row. Got
Yeah.
Yes, you got awful luck, but like at some point it must just be so frustrating. And you just
Yeah.
wonder what could happen. I don't
You
think anything
wonder.
will happen, but this was a very bad way for the Clippers to end this season.
Yeah.
To make it all the way to that 7-8 game, to be up, to basically solve Karl Anthony Towns, and for that to turn so fast, and then for this game to turn so fast in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. It's not unlike what happened to the Warriors last year. Um, however, it's just different with the Warriors because they have homegrown talent.
Because they had their pick.
And also they had the pick.
It's like such an easier letdown when you're like, okay, well now we can at least like we're an old team anyways. Maybe we can add some young piece
They
in here.
they had 2 lottery picks, you know?
Yeah,
And you look at the Warriors and how good they feel. Like, part of how good they feel is that they've got stuff for the future. And the Thunder are going to have, I mean, even if things don't break right for the Thunder and they end up with like the 7th pick, like, you don't feel good about that, but you feel way better about 7 and 12.
yes, you
Like,
do.
this kind of, it cushions 7 and 12 cushions the fall of what could happen. And
I'm just imagining
it,
trying to explain to someone why 7 and 12 sounds so much better than 7 and 15 because it's not that big of a difference, but it feels so big.
it feels big. I don't know if it's just the bird night getting to my head. I don't know.
It might be, man. Dude, what a night. I didn't expect to I had kind of written it off in my head,
Yeah.
and then they were playing so well in the first half. And I held back
Yeah.
from tweeting. I was like, I am not
I
going to tweet. I am
I
not
didn't
going to
touch
jinx this.
I didn't touch Twitter until the fourth, like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I was
Because
afraid to.
when they got up, I had filmed a little video of that bird artwork I have.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a different one. It involved my guinea pig as well. But then I was like, nope, I can't do this. I cannot jinx this game. And of course, it was jinxed anyways because we knew the Clippers were going to come back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
that
for a
was
team
almost
that,
too
as
predictable.
I mean, I shouldn't say as young as New Orleans because they obviously have vets, like significant vets on their team, but they're playing a lot
Yeah.
of rookies. And for a team like that with a first
Yeah.
year coach on the road in that type of environment, down 10 at the start of the fourth quarter to come all the way back is just super impressive. I mean,
It
all
was
credit
very
to the
impressive.
Pelicans. And they get a lottery pick from the Lakers. So it's just like, it's just gravy at this point. They're going to get 2 playoff games against the Suns and
It's
probably no more.
incredible.
But those
It's
2 will be very
incredible.
fun.
Yeah. I love it. It's a great story. It's great for the Thunder.
Great for
Um,
birds.
a big night for birds, man. Big.
It's a big night for birds.
Oh, well, thanks for staying up with us tonight. Thanks for hopping in. If you are joining in on our stream, hit subscribe, like and subscribe,
Hit the
please.
bell. Hit the bell as well.
Hit the bell, get some notifications when we go live. We usually go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but when the opportunity arrives for great things, which it has been a minute since we've done an emergency pod, since it even felt necessary to do an emergency pod.
And this is probably barely necessary, but you got to take what you can get. You know,
We got to, hey, when you got bird night,
you got a bird pod. You have a chance to do a bird pod,
you
a
gotta
freaking bird pod on a Friday night. How do you turn that
to
down?
do a Larry slash bird, not a Larry bird, but a Larry slash bird pod. Got to
Oh
do it.
man, what a great
Got to
night!
do it.
And
Uh,
playoffs haven't even started. Playoffs start tomorrow. Full day
Playoffs
of
start tomorrow.
games. Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
It's so
Games
good.
start at 10:30 a.m. out here. You know how great that is?
Unbelievable.
I just roll out of bed.
It's awesome.
All right, well, have it. Oh, it starts at 10 a.m. Have a great night, everyone. Enjoy your
Yeah. Have a
bird
great night.
night.
Hey, check out Saturday Slam and Jam. We preview the Eastern Conference playoffs with lots of excellent guests from The Athletic and from lots of different podcasts.
And
It's a fun podcast.
we recorded the first part right before we did this. So if you notice that our, especially my voice is a little bit more excited than usual, that is
Yeah.
why.
Oh, that's great. It's so good. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Fly high
Goodbye.
with the birds.
Fly high with the birds.